Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Warren Dews, Vice President of Capital Region Independent Media and the publisher of the Times Journal. I'm here today with my new friend. I got a new friend, everybody. Who are you? Tell me about who you are.
I am HB Steadham, and I am your new executive editor at the Times Journal.
HB, I am so excited to have you on board, man. It's been it feels like a great couple of months, but it's been on a couple of,
It was 1 week yesterday.
That's crazy. So first of all, let me just start by asking HB, like what's your full name and why do you go by HB?
So my full name, I'll only tell you if you promise to keep it a secret, is it's Heather Breed, which is actually my maiden name. It's the name I was born with. I started editing books a while back, and I've encountered some gender bias, actually. Some people who weren't too excited to hear some input from a woman. So for a while there, I just uh, chose to go by HB. And also, it was when I was little, my mom would write me notes like "I love you," and she would always put HB, "I love you." So it's a moniker that's been around in my life since I was little, and I decided it was a good thing to go ahead and switch to that.
I think it's so cool. It's so cool. So as you and I talked, we talked and we said, there's going to be people excited about you coming, but there's also going to be people upset about the things that might change in the paper. And the people that owned the paper before did a great job. They were there for a long time. The paper's been around for a long time. But to move to the next level, we got to make changes. To be honest with everyone listening to this, the paper would be closed if we didn't purchase it and buy it. It wouldn't be there. You wouldn't have a paper. And so to have you join the team, HB, talk briefly about some of the things that you want to keep, but some of the changes you might want to make it and why.
You bet. Well, I'm learning a lot, and I know that the Times Journal has been it's now in its 149th year, which is
Crazy.
such a wonderful legacy. It's fantastic. And Patsy and Jim, beloved staples of the community. I know specifically Patsy was here for 44 years. So when she decided to retire, I mean, well earned, right? How many people these days can say they've been in a position for 44 years? And I'm not Patsy. I'm not, and I won't be. But I can tell you that what I do have on my side is how much I love this community. I love Schoharie County. I love where I live. My kids go to school here. And I have edited books in the past, and I also have a master's of fine arts in creative writing. So I'm super glad to be here. Things that I want to keep: focus on the community. I want to be able to notify people when things are coming. And I also want to cover the things that people maybe don't have time to make it to. So you can expect lots of pictures, lots of names in paper, lots of local coverage of local events. I've been to town meetings and village meetings, and I'm going to a county meeting on Friday of this week. And just lots of stuff. I also am really excited about introducing some things. Social media in today's day and age is so important and is such a quick and accessible way to connect with the people in our community. So one of the things that I think is super fun is I want to have a feature on our socials called The Daily Dog. And this is
Mhm.
literally where I'm just walking around and talking to people when they're walking their dogs, get a little information about them, get a little information about their dogs. And if people are as excited as I am, they'll be thrilled to see that. I also plan to have a column every week that's called Front Porch, where if you can just imagine, I've invited you over to my house. We're sitting on my front porch. We're looking out at the north end of the Catskills. And if it's summer, I'm going to get you some lemonade. If it's
Mhm.
winter, I'm going to get you coffee or tea or hot tea or cocoa. And
Mhm.
just talk about what's on our hearts those days. Like what if, if something's going on with us personally or something is going on in the community, just things that are important and things that we're feeling. That's what Front Porch is about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that'll be coming out soon. Now do me one favor as you do the dog walking thing. If you get attacked, make sure you get on a video because that's gonna sell a lot of papers.
Right? That's gonna be go viral. It's totally. I mean,
I'm just
I, I of course you're just teasing because besides dogs love me. What are you talking about?
no, I love that. I love that so much. I love that so much. While I'm thinking about this, I would definitely want to give a shout out to Bruce Tryon, who also just retired
Oh my
recently.
goodness.
Great dude. I'm gonna really hurt my heart. I'm gonna miss him. But I bring him up to say, there's a lot of people that love this product, and he's one of them. They've been around for a while. It's funny, he wasn't here, but Pete. Pete, who works with us, and he's also the town historian, he told us about a thing that was going on at a church, and it was a cornerstone. They were taking out a time capsule. We went and covered it, and inside that time capsule from 1867, I believe the date was our paper. Our paper was in there.
Hey,
Yeah, our paper was in there. Bank of Richmondville ad was in there. It's so it shows that we've
that's
been
amazing.
around for a long, long, long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I have to tell you, I absolutely love Bruce. And Bruce did retire as well. His wife is thrilled. She is so glad to have him at home. But I'm gonna tell you something else. Another secret, don't tell anybody, is I text Bruce a lot. So Bruce may not be in the office with us, but whenever I have questions, you know, I call the man who knows everything, and that's Bruce. And then when you talk about Pete, I adore Pete. And that's actually, it's so you've queued me up to talk about something else new that I'm planning to do is once a month, I've asked Pete if he will write an entire story for us about something significant in history. Now he does do Times Past, and that runs every week, but it's, you know, it's kind of a collection of things that I've run in the newspaper. So this is going to be a whole column about like a significant event, a significant person, just one, you know, a significant place, just one, instead of like an amalgamation of a bunch of past news. And I'm really excited about that as well.
So another thing you and I talked about was that you're going to hopefully write soon is weight loss. Yeah,
Yes.
so I talk about that. So, we own Capital Region Independent Media, New York, NYVT Media. We own a bunch of other newspapers. And in those other newspapers, over a year ago, I wrote an article. Well, I didn't write an article. Melanie, one of our editors, wrote an article about my weight loss journey. And for years, I've been a big dude. I got up to over 300 something pounds, and
Wow.
I got gastric bypass, and I've lost 80 pounds.
Yeah.
So as I was talking to you about that, it was actually the lunch that Bruce was leaving. Bruce was there. Pete was
His
there.
farewell lunch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were there. So talk
Hmm.
about that briefly because we're gonna write about that too.
Absolutely. Hoping that's going to go in the July 24th the edition. That's something that we were talking about. And I was on Wegovy and I've lost 80 pounds. I'm still on Wegovy. I don't know why I said was. I'm on Wegovy and I've lost 80 pounds as well. And then Pete chimed in that on Weight Watchers he lost, and don't quote me on this, I'll have to get it together for the article, but I think he's lost like 100 or 125 pounds using Weight Watchers. So it's going to be a really interesting comparison of our experiences and the different methods that we used and things that we kind of went through in our different journeys. It's really cool to have three people who have lost kind of a similar amount of a weight with different methods.
With different methods, so we'll definitely talk more about that. I have a whole bunch of stuff to talk to you about that. The other thing I want to throw at you, and well, two things. We built a great relationship with SUNY Cobleskill.
Yes.
And so, we they have a section in our paper. Before Bruce left, I met with the one of the local schools to talk about sports and making sure we get more pictures and more stories from them. So that's something else we're
Mm-hmm.
going to work on. Having the local schools send us stuff and make sure if we can't
Yes.
make it, that we get that stuff in there. I want to do something. You remember back in the day, radio stations used to do shout outs. I'm making a shout out to my girlfriend. Happy birthday.
I may have made a phone call or two like that in my past as well.
I want to create a page, something like that, where we have shout outs, where it's just pictures of people, shout outs to people. It could be a full story, it could just be a couple of words. I want us to work on something like that. I want to see what the community thinks about it. You send your
I
pictures,
imagine
yeah.
we can
So
make that happen.
yeah, I really want to do that. So I don't want to stay on this really long because you and I are going to have a lot of time to talk and do these types of interviews. We might even start a podcast. And but what else
I'm
do you
in.
want the community to know? What else do you want the community to know about your new move to life, your new thing that you're going to be doing in this beautiful area?
Well, the first thing I want people to know is that I am truly deeply excited to be here. Yeah, driving home yesterday, I called my husband and I said, I don't want to jinx anything, but I just feel like this kind of work is what I should have been doing the whole time. I really have two words that I feel like sum up my approach to this, and that's community and quality. I want things to be done well, and I want to have that focus on our community. I want to have as few fillers as we can in the paper, which I know that people can sometimes get frustrated with. There will always be some, because it's not always fillers. When you talk about like a law that comes down from New York State, is it necessarily focused on community? But no, but does it affect our community? Absolutely. So, and the other thing is that I'm super open to communication. My name is here in the corner, HB Steadham, HB.Steadham at NYVT Media. That's New York, Vermont Media, NYVTmedia.com. Email me. I want to hear from people. I want to be able to make this paper as special as it has been, and just make it even more so if that's possible.
Well, that's awesome. One thing out before we leave, I'm not going to talk about this deeply, but I want to shout out. I'll start my shout out now to the
Do it.
correspondents. The
Oh,
correspondents
absolutely.
that we have, they're amazing. They do so much for the paper. It means so much, to the point where when we bought this paper, we looked at that, was like, we need to do that at our other papers. So shout out to the correspondents.
Wow.
We're going to be having a meeting with them coming up soon, so you can meet them. The
Yes,
other
I'm
thing that
excited.
I want to let out the bag, everybody, is that we're going to have Meet the Editor. We're going to go around the market at your local coffee shop or your local, watering hole, and sit down. And you'll get to meet HB, sit down and talk to her, give her some ideas. Just, we want to be that media that's in your reach, but that's always reaching out to you. So that's what we
And
want to do.
and playing off of that, Warren, I plan to have at least one day a month. Office is based in Cobleskill, so I'll be here a lot. I also want to have at least one day a month in Schoharie, at least one day a month in Middleburg, and at least one day a month in Sharon Springs, and I have to set these locations up, and we will have a story about this as it becomes available, but set up at a location, whether it's the library or it's at a co-working space, because they have those in our county, where I will say, I will be here from noon to 3, the first Monday of the month, and you can come and walk right up and talk to me and let me know what your thoughts are, just so that I can be more accessible to the community at large.
Awesome. Well, listen, everybody, thank you for taking the time to listen to us. Once again, this is Warren Dews, Vice President of Capital Region Independent Media, publisher of the Times Journal, and our new amazing HB, our executive editor at the paper. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Warren.